This is KUGAN CASSIUS for the CASSIUS and Helder show here on
Billy Joe
BoxNation.
Saunders.
All right, Bill. We're in the caravan of Billy Joe Saunders. So I've walked in today, knocked on the door, said, Bill, you decent? He said, yes, come in. Walked in, he's naked in the bath.
I was having the bath getting ready for KUGAN when he come.
Naked, fully blown naked. Didn't really know what to say.
Well, he was just surprised, wasn't he? Shocked.
Never shocked, never shocked. All right, people want to know. Saunders Eubanks 2, as far as I understand, to this day, is not happening.
Blew out the water. No, listen, we tried to make, well, Frank tried to make it, get a few things happening, but he was getting well paid. But at the end of the day, listen, Coog, if he gets beat again, he gets beat again. He's, by me, he's more or less, not finished, but he's right down on par. At the minute, because of his dad's name, he's right bright, the likes of Nick Blackwell, John Ryder and all them now, because he's got this WBA Intercontinental
Interim title.
yeah, something. Now, the fight could have been made, but all he had to do was drop that belt. He didn't drop it. Therefore, the fight couldn't go ahead, because if I boxed him without him dropping that belt, I then lose my spot for fighting for the world title against Andy Lee. And all the stepping aside, not fighting for the IBF, would have all been a waste of time. I've got a plan with the WBO, and I'm going ahead with that plan.
So, obviously, just to clarify, if he had vacated the WBA interim title, you two both fight for the WBO mandatory spot. So if he was to beat you, he'd be in your position that you're in now.
Yeah. So I'm fighting for a spot that I'm already in. Don't make any sense to do, does it? But I know that I'd beat him comfortably. And last time, all right, it was a good fight. You couldn't say, listen, it was a good fight, but it wasn't close. When you look back at it, I won it by 4 rounds. So 4 or 5 rounds maybe. So, I'm pleased it did go that way, but if the rematch happened, there'd be so many different things what would happen. It'd be a joke. Let's just face it. He's probably got a little bit excited because he's got a belt. In his own head, he probably thinks, what other belt could I win? I'll vacate this and get beat. It's just not good enough for him. He knows he was getting beat because, listen, if that decision would have been on the other foot in November, and we was talking about this fight a few weeks ago, I said to Frank Ryan, listen, I'll dump this belt, give me whatever you want to give me, just get him back in the ring with me. That would have been it. And that's what a true fighter would do. But I think when someone's got doubts in their head, listen, what good is that WBA? It's not going to make him mandatory for Golovkin, because Daniel Jacobs is the full champion and Golovkin is a super champion, right?
Correct. The regular champion is Danny Jacobs. Eubanks interim one. Golovkin super.
So what's that bit? What does that belt do? What he's got? I'm asking you a question because I'm a box. I box for a living. I genuinely don't know. Apart from give him a little, put him somewhere in the top 10 or something like that. Why is he even considering fighting Golovkin anyway? Because Golovkin would destroy him. The little punch drunk. Honestly, mate, Golovkin would destroy him.
With the interim title and the regular champion, they're not looking through all the other weights. They don't have to fight them. They're not made like... It's different if he was interim champion and then at a certain point he will definitely face Golovkin or Danny Jacobs. But with the WBA, it doesn't seem to be that. If it happens, it happens. But they don't seem to force it, as far as I know, like the interim or the regular champion to face the super champion, if you like. A bit like Scott Quigg being the regular champion. He hasn't been made to fight Rigondeaux, who's the super champion. A bit like that.
Nice to know. So he ain't got to be made to fight anybody. Now listen, all jokes aside, my part was signed, done. WBO world title shot back on the line. What I've worked for since I've been 5. My bit was ready to go. So the fans know that, and we're showing this, and I get Frank to show contracts. My bit was signed, done, sealed, and delivered. I think it's his old man as well messing about a little bit, because listen, let's face it, they are a bit. Listen, they're missing, and they're missing something from the brain. To be fair, Both of them are. Because he sat round the table and he told me that he was world champion, which was offensive, to be fair, when he told me he was world champion with the WBA belt. I felt like getting it and beating it all around his head. How's he world champion? He couldn't box egg for Tesco's. That's a world champion for that. That's about it.
Well, it's disappointing because obviously from the first fight, it was a close fight. You're saying that watching it back, it wasn't as close as people may think it was, but the whole event itself, people did want to see a rematch, and now obviously it's looking for the immediate future very unlikely. And your career for the last, since that fight and even before, has been revolving around Eubank, where you could have taken quite a few world title opportunities.
Yeah, the first time when the belt was vacant and Korobov and Lee boxed for it, you know, it made financial sense to go with the Eubank fight. You know, and I thought, all right, let Lee take his chance. And I thought Lee, it's a winnable fight, but I didn't think he was winning. But I looked at Korobov and Lee, and I know I could beat both of them. So I thought, I'm still mandatory, fight Eubank, then go and fight for that. Then, you know, them two boxed for it. Then it was the Lee Quillen. Oh, sorry, tell her. Then it was the IBF situation. Now, I wanted to go with the IBF, but with the rules of the WBO, I wouldn't have been able to go for the WBO. And, you know, that was the route. The WBO route is the route that I wanted to go because, you know, that route there, I think there's bigger fights. All right, I have to wait a little bit longer. But, so really, I don't really class the IBF as a world title opportunity because I already set plans in my head and I was on that path and I didn't really want to change it because I didn't know where it was going to lead. And, you know, the likes of you got this Nassam the Dam, then you got the Canadian. All right, they're good fights, but they're not big fights. They're hard fights as well, but they're not big money fights. Where the WBO route, I've got Lee. You know, you got even in there, you got your John Ryders rated in top 10. You got some good fighters in there and some big fights. So I wanted to wait for that, and here I am today. I'm mandatory, and hopefully, please God, should be in about September.
So we know Andy Lee's obviously sort of overcoming an injury. You yourself haven't fought since November, which is probably the biggest period of time you've been out. What, 7 months you've been out?
7 months, yeah. 7 months.
Which must be frustrating.
Yeah, listen, it gets you sometimes when you're sitting there and you think, oh, 7 months. But I've been like step asides have been paid and a few other things. It's financial, yeah, it's good, but you get like the sick in the end of sitting down and you think, I just want to get in there and fight. So Frank's going to sort of date out for me this week, and I'm looking at the end of June.
Do you think that you'll fight just once before facing Andy Lee, hopefully later on in the year?
Listen, if I go in there and it's a 1-round job, 2-round jobs, I want to go in there with someone then. Right, I don't want to go in there and have a war, but I want to go and get a good 8 rounds out somewhere. You know? So maybe 1, maybe even 2. I don't know. It all depends. We've got to get all the all clearance from Lee first when he's 100% ready. So I don't really know with that sort of thing. So I'll let Frank deal with that. But maybe 1 or 2. No more than 2.
Speaking to Frank Warren not long ago, obviously he told me the situation regarding the belt, the WBA and the WBO spot. Do you believe that that is the actual main reason, or do you think that the Eubanks may have other reasons why the fight isn't happening?
KUGAN, listen, yeah. Work it out. It's no logic. Someone's beaten you, took your unbeaten record, right? Now, you've got a little Mickey Mouse belt, what's only good for holding your trousers up. Now, would you, if you could get a chance to rematch someone, would you forget about what your dad says? And you're getting serious money, by the way, serious money that he would never ever get fighting. He probably won't get the money fighting Golovkin, the money he was getting from me, Daniel Jacobs on the same night. He wouldn't have got the money he was getting for fighting me. So what logic is they not to take that fight, only to think, I could be beat again here. Give me another 18 months, another 2 years maybe. Try to, bring myself on a little bit. That's all he is. He's so clumsy. He haven't got. Listen. I don't like blowing, but I've got talent. Yeah, I've got talent mixed in, and with hard work, it's hard to beat. He has just got strength. Now, the strength's not no good to me. He can't just. Next time he thinks I'm going to walk forward and just smash him, go forward from round one to. It's no good. He get punched to pieces. So the loss of the fought was in his head. He thought, I'm going to get beat again. I know that's what was in his head. So if he was a big man and wanted to take the fight, he should have vacated that, got in the ring, and had a chance to beat me and fight for a proper world title, not interim, a proper world title on a big stage as well somewhere. That was his reward really. That fought in his head, but he decided to keep his belt, and I don't know where he's fighting next or who he's fighting next, but I'm sure that there won't be any note of a name there.
So, in regards to yourself, you're just focused now fully on the WBO situation. The fight with Andy Lee and Chris Eubanks is finished with for the time being. Listen, if it happens in a year or two, that's different. But right now, that's what you're thinking about.
Well, my plan was after the Eubank fight was to have a warm up, then fight Lee. That was always the plan. So this is always the plan still. But I've just been put off for a month or so. So the plan was fight in May, what's just gone. Then fight Eubank, fight Andy Lee in September. But then Eubank got thrown up, and obviously talks. And listen, there was no really objective of me to fight him again. Nothing to prove rather than the money. I had people saying to me, what are you giving another chance for? Not giving. But I was, listen, trust me, I was getting extremely well paid. So it's a business, isn't it? You fight, you go where the money is. And when people say, you could have boxed for a world title, I don't care if I box for a world title 10 times. If it's working financially for me, I'll make my own decisions in my boxing career. And that's the route I'm going on. But for now, definitely not now. I'm going to win the world title and I'm going to pick him off going down. And he's not on my radar. If he comes mandatory or something like that, then it'll happen. But at the moment, not happening because you can't deal with people because you don't know. They're not professional enough. They talk all in these words that we don't understand, but they are absolutely idiots, mate. Trust me, they are two little muppets. They haven't got a clue. Listen, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I could sit down, and I can't read as good as probably them or write, but I could sit down and clearly put a contract together better than what. Because mate, they are gone away the fairies. They're like you, KUGAN.
Okay. All right, then. Well, Billy Joe, it's a shame the fight's not happening. Like I said, from a fan point of view, most people wanted to see it, the rematch. It's not happening. So.
Well, like I said, I'll give it to him the first time. I was willing to give it to him again the second time, but it's not my fault. My part was signed, sealed, and delivered, already raring to go. Then was lost in the attic somewhere. Trust me.
Have you got any final words or message to the fans, the Eubanks, anything you want to add?
Well, if I had a message to the Eubanks, you wouldn't be able to hear it. That's definitely for sure. But the fans, just hopefully I should have a date for the end of June. So, I'm not looking at... do you know what? I might even consider end of June something, having a little fight. Bringing a good name in instead of fighting a name I can't pronounce. Imagine like a Paddy Fitzgerald tweeted me the other day. He said is it Eamon O'Kane? Is it Eamon O'Kane? He's there, so maybe I could get him over for a fight.
Paddy Fitzpatrick.
Paddy Fitzpatrick. Yeah, Paddy Fitzpatrick. Fitzgerald.
He watches this as well.
Yeah, good. Listen, he's a nice fella, sound fella, isn't he? But I'm sure. If we could get a name over, because listen, I don't want to fight a complete and utter bum. I want to fight someone who's got a bit of a name and can have a little bit of fight. And I think this fella can have a little bit of fight, can he? So, be interesting.
I might see that fight. You and OK?
Yeah, definitely be a good fight.
All right, then. Billy Joe Saunders.
What are you looking at me? What are you looking at me coat for?
All your sponsors. Got the same sponsor on there. Macklin's Gym, Marbella.
MGM is the player. Do you know what? The rain here, I was speaking to Daniel the other day, and I just might go over there for 2 or 3 weeks just to chill out, do a little bit of training in the sun. It's a good place, isn't it?
Very good place.
Then I've got Rainham Steel, Mountain Recovery, Box Fit, Billy Joe Saunders, KUGAN CASSIUS sponsors me as well. KUGAN gives me £1,000,000.
That Porsche out there, you don't need sponsoring again.
KUGAN.
Look, this is where Billy Joe shops.
I know. Do you know what? I shop. My shopping is at where do I shop now? Oxfam.
Okay, it's a good course.
It's your show now, KUGAN.
No, this is still BoxNation. So
Mm.
be careful what you say. I think we should just cut this interview before Billy Joe says something.
Listen, I've been warned by KUGAN not to let out. Yeah, so just to let you know, I would have let out, but KUGAN has warned me. He can't hear it.
So this is for BoxNation. All right, Billy Joe Saunders, thank you very much for talking to the Cassius and Hilda show. Await news of a date for you.
That's clever, isn't it? When you're doing BoxNation, you're on BoxNation, KUGAN, CASSIUS, you do it like that.
Yeah.
Good thinking, KUGAN.
You like that?
Yeah, good thinking, mate. Fucking good thinking.
You had to ruin it, didn't you? You didn't swear once in that. You had to ruin it.
That's good thinking, mate. That is good.
All right. Thank you very much, KUGAN Cassius, Billy Joe Saunders, here in Billy Joe Saunders' very lavish, posh caravan. Thank you very much.